Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. This is the most fun that I've had in my entire life. Having the chance to create all these Descendants and Zombies videos for you have been an honor that I will never ever forget. With over 3,000 girls having subscribed to this YouTube channel, you have deserved to hear nothing but the best for a very long time. And that's what I wanted to give for you, and that's what I have prided myself on trying to do with this YouTube channel as we celebrate Meg Donnelly's 25th birthday today. Happy birthday to Meg Donnelly, an incredibly beautiful soul that I am very proud to be in the same world with and sharing the same space with because of just how incredibly talented this young girl is. She's not only talented as an actress, but she's also very talented as a singer and now a producer. How many of you out there saw Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires? I saw this last week and I was blown away by it. The script, the music, absolutely incredible. The best music that I think I've ever heard collaborated for a Zombies movie in the last 7 years. For the better part of a decade, Zombies has held a special place in all of our hearts, and I know forever and always it will hold a special place in my heart. For the messages of power, the exemplification of a struggle for power, acceptance, all kinds of stuff we saw in Zombies. And we saw this incredible love story between a human and a zombie that nobody ever thought could exist. Nobody's ever thought that humans and zombies could exist in one world. I, for one, though, always have believed that zombies and humans could have coexisted in one world. That's why I took myself up on the opportunity to move into a home near a soda plantation and a chemical plant that could explode. And every morning over a cup of tea, I talk to you about the chances of a zombie apocalypse breaking out and happening during my show. Oh, which is the most fun that I've had in my entire life. You know, I used to talk about a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I used to talk about a lot of stuff on my radio show. But I don't think that I've ever achieved worldwide popularity for having talked about a zombie or a vampire invasion, which is don't get me wrong, it is a huge honor to be able to sit behind this podcast microphone and talk about the chances of a zombie invasion happening at any given moment, because you can never be too prepared. You always have to have food, medical supplies, water, your basic essentials, but you can always take yourself up on the opportunity. You should always take yourself up on the opportunity to be prepared for it, because you never can tell who is a zombie or who is a vampire. I've told you many entertaining stories over the course of the last year about how I thought I lived across the road from a vampire. These guys moved from the Yukon and started building a house next door to me. And I didn't know anything. All I heard was hammering and nailing like 24 hours. And the next thing I knew, there were people from the Yukon moved in next door to me, and they were coming over asking for, Ziploc bags and stuff. I didn't know what they were doing. And then I saw these deep freezers down in their basement one night when I was on my way to work, and I said, for the life of me, these guys must be vampires. And then I started going over to their house for meals and stuff. I was getting invited over for supper and stuff, and I thought that was really freaky. I never did take myself up the opportunity to stake the guys. But I probably should have, perhaps, because you can never be too sure. And then I went to school with a lot of guys who thought they were vampires, who I initially thought were vampires, really creepy guys. I went to school with far too many creepy guys, and one can never be too sure. So you can always watch these videos for pointers on what to do if you yourself find yourself in a zombie apocalypse. And to make matters worse, I live on an island, so there are only two ways off of this island. One is by car that can crash and explode, or plane that could crash and explode, and that's not good. And the third option is by boat that could crash into a rock and sink and explode. So every option that you have to escape a zombie invasion on this island, to get off of it, results in a massive explosion. But I did think that Meg Donnelly's portrayal of Addison Wells in the Zombies franchise was incredibly beautifully done. How she didn't care about how everybody thought of her was the biggest thing that I noticed about her. When I started watching Zombies, it was February 16th, 2018. And I was just, overcoming the death of my dad, and I was trying to make sense of my life. My dad had passed away 4 years prior to Zombies having been released. And I wasn't creating any videos at that point in my life. I thought my career was over because 2018, I had recorded what I believed to have been my final podcast. And you guys brought me back because you started emailing me about Descendants of Zombies, saying they were cool franchises. I should start recording videos on them. So after I had a bunch of girls showing up on my door every year on Halloween dressed up as their favorite Descendants of Zombies characters, I started researching it, and I thought it was the most fun, the most cool Disney franchises that I had seen in my life. And you guys obviously wanted me to create a podcast about Descendants of Zombies because you knew I had hosted so many shows over the years, and you got what you wanted. And a year and a half later, I put over almost 30,000 views up on this YouTube channel, over 3,000 subscribers who are the most beautiful girls in the world. And I have each and every one of you to thank for that. But perhaps I should be thanking every little girl who showed up at my door every year on Halloween convincing me to start up a show about Descendants of Zombies because they knew I had hosted shows like this in the past. But never as popular as this. Never as popular as this. I can't remember a time where my show has ever been this popular. I've hosted a lot of popular shows over the last 20 years, but never as popular as this. A show that has inspired me that dreams really do come true. I was looking for a way to inspire people that dreams and ambitious behavior were quite possible in this world. And I like to believe that I did that through the power of this show, because more people are subscribing to the show all the time. People are more stronger now. They are joining gyms. They are working out more. They are joining the swim team, the volleyball team, the track and field team, and they are stronger than ever. I just saw some pictures actually today of Meg Donnelly, and she must have gotten into a fitness routine because she is starting to get muscles in her arms in places that most people don't even have them, which is an incredible effort that Meg Donnelly is putting out there. That's what that illustrates. Meg Donnelly obviously wants to be stronger. She wants to be put out there more in the way of advertising for different projects she has going on. So I think that she deserves a lot of credit for what she's been doing and just how much of an inspiration she is for, and how many people draw inspiration from Meg Donnelly is absolutely unbelievable. And how she's just so courageous, talking about her mom's battle with cancer, her own battles with anxiety and depression, which is quite difficult on times. I've seen so many people over the years battle anxiety and depression, and it is never easy when you see somebody you love having to go through that. And I think that the courage that Meg Donnelly has exemplified, talking about anxiety and depression and her fear of death, which she suffered from, that's necrophobia. Ever since she was a child, she suffered from a fear of death, and I can relate to Meg Donnelly suffering with a fear of death because I used to suffer with that big time when I was probably, 13 years old. I was probably 15 years old before I stopped being afraid of it. But that required a lot of research and understanding of how, you're given life, but at any given moment, that life can be taken away from you, and the realization of that we're all going to the same place. No matter how many times we try to better ourselves or escape death, it will always catch up with us. And I think Meg Donnelly has understood that better than probably what she did when she was probably 9 years old, when she was suffering from panic attacks and the fear of necrophobia as much as what she was. But I think what Meg Donnelly didn't realize is that she had incredible support around her all the time, from her friendship with Mila Manheim to her friendship with her parents. Both Liz and Mike did a fabulous job. Liz and Mike Donnelly raising this girl, and I give her all the credit in the world. I was heartbroken, though, that she wasn't a part of the Worlds Collide tour. They sent a video message, herself and Milo did. It was a very brief video message. It was probably about 30 seconds, just encouraging Freya Sky and Malachi Burton to explode with the Zombies franchise. They were so honored to have passed the torch to them. I found it cool, but I think that Meg Donnelly and Mila Manheim could have made guest appearances for the Zombies World Tour. Now, I did see a video that was done in San Diego on YouTube of this, but I didn't see a tour where apparently they did make a guest appearance. But I would have loved to have seen them have more involvement with the Worlds Collide Tour. I guess it had everything to do with the torch having been passed and the spotlight now being on Malachi Burton and Freya Sky, who are doing a fabulous job picking up where Mila Manheim and Meg Donnelly left off with Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires. It was emotional for me. Because I didn't want to see Addison going off to cheer college. I wanted Addison to stay for possibly even just Zombies 5. I thought she was a beautiful character. I thought that nobody could have portrayed her better than what Meg Donnelly did. Her new EP, Dying Art, is something that is fabulous work. You can purchase it off of megdonnelly.com right now on iTunes, and it's getting millions of listens and millions of downloads, which is what I wanted from Meg Donnelly. But the numbers for Meg Donnelly's followers, 1 million followers on social media is a far cry from what it could be, and even Kylie Cantrell's followers of 450,000 on Facebook and just a little over 1 million on Twitter X is a far cry from what it could be. And I think that that's where more support could be shown and more love could be given to someone like Meg Donnelly, because she's given up her life for the Zombies franchise, which is something that a lot of people wouldn't do. Meg Donnelly really has dedicated her life to the Zombies franchise. I know she was a part of a show called The Winchesters, an American Housewife as Taylor Otto, which was really funny, a very different look at Meg Donnelly. But the thing that I have a tremendous amount of respect for Meg Donnelly having done is giving up her life to the industry, which a lot of people don't do. You take Dove Cameron, for instance. She had to take a 2-year reprieve from her music and acting because of the pressure mounting to a point where Dove Cameron couldn't handle it anymore. And as much as I miss Dove Cameron, we had fabulous actresses such as Kylie Cantrell and Mila Baker picking up the ball where people like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson left it. While Dove Cameron wanted to take a step back from the spotlight, which you had to have respect for having done, she left the responsibility of the Descendants franchise, High School Musical, on people like Kylie Cantrell, which I have a profound amount of respect for her for having done, because nobody would have been able to do it the way that Kylie Cantrell has been able to do it. And I think she has a greater passion for Descendants and Zombies than what Dove Cameron ever did. I mean, I don't think you will ever find somebody who has a greater passion than the people who are securing the future of franchises such as Zombies now. The cool thing about Zombies is it is so inspirational. The messages, the music, people see themselves through the eyes of the characters and hear themselves in the lyrics of the music. Which is something that I really, really like. I myself would have loved to be an actor as a part of the Zombies franchise, because there's just something about having the opportunity to dance with a bunch of zombies on stage and shoot a bunch of zombies in an apocalyptic invasion, which I think would be an incredible opportunity for myself to take myself up on. I thought about, chasing a Mustang the other day on my way to the mall to buy a new headset for this radio program and this YouTube show, and I thought about how exhilarating it would be to outrun thousands of zombies. And that comes from a guy who's played every video game that has anything to do with a zombie invasion. Last of Us, Days Gone, Resident Evil. I've played them all, and I've loved the opportunity to play every single video game that has anything to do with a horror survival. You haven't lived until you outlast thousands of zombies and shoot them. But the one thing you have to remember about a zombie invasion is when zombies attack, you have to shoot a zombie in the head. Otherwise, they're just going to keep getting up. So, in the time that you incapacitate a zombie, what you got to do is point, reload, and shoot. Point, reload, and shoot. Like that. And, you'll be fine. And they always have to have the necessary requirements like medical supplies, food, water, the basic essentials, and you should be okay. And I had a lot of girlfriends who were pretty zombified too, really zombieing out. There were a lot of times that I was with a girl that, I couldn't make sense of, because the thing is, I'd be talking about, SpongeBob SquarePants, and it was like they were so zoned out, they didn't even notice I was hitting the like button for them. They didn't even know I was talking about SpongeBob SquarePants. Many of them didn't even know who SpongeBob SquarePants or Bluey were. So it kind of really got me depressed, so I drew the conclusion that they were real zombies. And that's why I'm really thankful that I started up this podcast, and I have, 3,000 girls subscribe to this YouTube channel, and anywhere I am, I always get notifications about how people subscribe to the show. People love Zombies and Descendants as much as what I do, so I'm very thankful that I had the honor of falling into this niche, and I'm very thankful that I had the opportunity of finding out who people like Dove Cameron and Meg Donnelly were to offer you better analogies than what you've been hearing on YouTube. Because one thing I noticed about Meg Donnelly's interviews are Meg Donnelly will turn the direction of the interview around the way she wants to turn the interview around, because people ask her the same boring 15 questions in an hour-long podcast interview, which I can kind of feel real sympathetic towards Meg Donnelly for, because, when you're asked the same 15 questions for PR for Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires, it can get really annoying. Because all a girl ever wants is to be asked questions that she hasn't been asked before, and to stand out in ways she's never been able to stand out for before. So how she turns the interview around is she will ask the host of the podcast how they got into podcasting. And I've always wanted Meg Donnelly to call me up and ask me how did I get into podcasting, and just say, hey, Jonathan Clarke, how did you get into podcasting at 9:15 a.m. in the morning? Well, how I got into podcasting at 9:15 a.m. in the morning is I had no money. I wanted somebody to hear my voice. I was a real loser for playing PlayStation video games. I was a real tech geek. I was always on the computer all of my life. As a teenager, that's all I did was chat and eat and watch movies and play video games. So after my dad told me that he was going to kick my ass if I didn't get a real job and stop thinking that pro wrestling was real. I created a podcast, and years ago, all I could use was Winamp and Shoutcast to stream my voice. There were no video software. There was no professional camera like I have now to shoot these videos with. There were no 4K videos, no hour-long videos. You just basically had to stream your voice for however long you wanted to stream your voice for through the power of Winamp and Shoutcast. Many of you are probably too young to remember. Perhaps some of you are. I don't know. But I had a whole lot of fun doing it. Now, it was really challenging. On nights, Mom would have card games and bingo. Actually, on nights Mom would go to bingo. That was when the house was actually really quiet, so I could say, "Yo, Descendants of Zombies podcast." But on nights when she had card games, it was really hard, especially when they would play 120s and Crazy Eights, and then the whole town would share this house for her card game addiction and bingo. So on nights that Mom would go to bingo and Dad would go out with his buddies to pool and stuff, I would create a podcast about whatever I was talking about at the time. And I never ever thought nobody was going to hear my voice, because as a YouTube creator, even now, 20 years later, the biggest challenge is hoping that someone is going to see your video, hear your voice, and is going to hit your subscribe button because he or she loves your videos. And the cool thing is, the majority of my audience are all girls, and they are so fearless, and they don't care about what anybody thinks of them. So they are going to hit the subscribe button regardless of what anybody thinks of this show, because they love Descendants and Zombies so much, and they are staying calm, and they are zombieing on, and I love that. I love the mystery by the time we get to Zombies 5, and how that will keep people interested in what we can expect to see from Zombies 5. Will it be mermaids, will it be witches, or will it be something else? I really don't care what's in that vortex. I'm excited to find out what's in that vortex. I like how people are predicting it is going to be mermaids and witches, because I forgot about witches being involved with the Zombies franchise. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a vampire TV series or movie that has had nothing to do with witches. It happened in the Vampire Diaries. It happened in Buffy. Remember how Willow went psychotic in Buffy the Vampire Slayer? And in the Vampire Diaries, I think it was Bonnie that went crazy. Yeah, so there's always been something, the more I think about it, where witches have had something to do with vampires and zombies. So because of that, yeah, the chances of witches tying in with a mermaid seem to be pretty, it seems to be a pretty accurate prediction. We will find out more as the date gets closer, which the release window is suggesting it's going to be 2027. But in all seriousness, I really do hope that Meg Donnelly has a beautiful birthday, because she has deserved to have a beautiful birthday, and all she ever wants to do is have fun. And that's something that I see out of the friendship between herself and Milo Manheim, which is an absolutely fabulous friendship. They get along really good, which goes without saying. There obviously is something in the water over there at Disney that they're drinking, because some of the most beautiful friendships, from Dove Cameron to Sophia Carson and Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim and Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner, and Kylie Cantrell, Mila Baker, and Ruby Rose Turner, have been created from all the friendships they have had from a working relationship that was established because of franchises like Descendants of Zombies, which is something that I can never get enough of, because we never see enough of it. How many times do we hear about how, for instance, Miley Cyrus and Emily Osment couldn't get along on the set of Hannah Montana? I mean, they wanted to kill each other. There were times they wanted to rip each other's throats out. And I love how, you know, after all this confliction we saw on Disney Channel, how producers really had to keep a show together. People like Kylie Cantrell and Mila Baker, for instance, have done the absolute best they can to create something special for people that I think a lot of people have drawn inspiration from, and are stronger because of now, because they feel inspired through the music that Kylie Cantrell is distributing, through the character Red that Descendants has been promoting. And I think anything but the story is far from over. We have a long way to go with this, and that builds more excitement and leaves us with more unanswered questions, because you really can't tell a story in 90 minutes and complete it. And for those of you out there who believe that you can tell a story in 90 minutes and complete it, you really can't. Because there are so many supernatural creatures who have yet to see their introduction into the Zombies franchise. There are so many people in the Descendants franchise in the way of fantasy characters who have to be introduced. And I am really excited to see where we go from here with this, because the cool thing is everybody's brains are full of predictions now, and they are leaving comments on various discussion forums. Even on these YouTube videos, I mean, there were people who were leaving comments yesterday on some of my videos who didn't even know there was going to be a Descendants 5. Well, yes, there is going to be a Descendants 5. I can confirm that for you. People are saying summer 2026. I don't know if it's going to be in the summer of 2026, but I do know and can confirm for you that it is going to be in 2026. At some time between the beginning and the end of 2026, we will see a new Descendants, and it's called Descendants 5, Wicket Wonderland. The Kingdom Cup games have something to do with it, and we don't know what's going to happen. One would assume that Pink is going to present some confliction and some kind of a quarrel with her sister due to the consequences of time travel, and that's one of the consequences of time travel. That's why time travel has pretty much been taken out of this one. And because time travel has been taken out of this one, that's why Pink is here now, and why we have a sibling quarrel, and why consequences are going to be the focal point of this, and, you know, why Red's mother went good and all this stuff. So are they going to go back in time and make her evil again? That remains to be seen. And then, of course, Ruby Rose Turner is not going to be a part of Descendants 5, and my heart is broken because Ruby is not going to be a part of Descendants 5. You know, I thought that Ruby was going to be a part of the Worlds Collide Tour. I thought Ruby was going to be a part of Descendants 5 going into this. And my heart is really broken over it, to be honest with each and every one of you, because I don't know how you can do Descendants 5 without Ruby Rose Turner. I really don't know how you can do Descendants 5 without Ruby Rose Turner, because there was just something about Ruby's voice being incredibly satisfying. And what got me about Ruby every single time was that Ruby was so kind, and how she inspired everybody to be kinder and to become stronger. I mean, Ruby is in the best shape of her life, and she has been had opportunity after opportunity stolen from underneath her. The rug has been swept out from underneath Ruby Rose Turner so many times, and she's been the victim of so much criticism. So has Kylie Cantrell. Can we please give them a chance? Can we please just see what happens over the next year? Regardless of how much criticism we are reading about and finding out about, I think more of a chance needs to be given to people like Meg Donnelly to see what they do, because I think that it is a huge chance and a responsibility in its own right to be the producer of a franchise such as Zombies, because you want to secure the future of it. It is a huge gamble to take, but I think that they are going to do a fabulous job with this, because they understand the Zombies franchise perhaps better than anybody else out there. I know everything there is to know about the Descendants and Zombies franchises, and that's why I'm here creating this show for each and every single person who loves it so much. But I can only hope that someone is going to hit my subscribe button, because one of the greatest honors of all from doing this that I get is knowing that somebody out there is going to hit my subscribe button. It is a huge honor to be able to sit behind this podcast microphone every morning of my life and every night of my life talking about and critiquing Descendants and Zombies and discussing the future of it. I love these two franchises so much. I think we still have a long way to go, and I'm really excited to see where we go from here. I would love for you to hit the like button, and I would love for you to hit the subscribe button, because I always love seeing the subscribers going up on this YouTube channel. I never promote these videos. I organically grow this YouTube channel, which means I upload the video with a description and a thumbnail because I have to, and I go to Booster Juice or Dairy Queen, and while I'm burying my face into a sundae, a chocolate fudge sundae, I'm saying to myself, nobody is going to subscribe to my show. Why isn't anybody subscribing to my show? And then I bury my face into a chocolate sundae, and I don't lift my head up until somebody subscribes. And then I come home from Dairy Queen, and then 2 or 3 girls have subscribed to my YouTube channel. No matter where I am, I always get a notification on my phone that somebody has subscribed to this YouTube channel, and it makes it all worth it. Because one of the greatest joys I get as a YouTube creator, and perhaps one of the only joys that I really get as a YouTube creator, is just knowing that somebody out there really loves this show. And I get really emotional over it too, because I know how much Descendants and Zombies have meant to you. The franchises are absolutely gorgeous, and they still have a long way to go. The messages they have withstood in all of our hearts are incredibly beautiful. I love you guys so much for just being here, because without you guys, this YouTube show wouldn't exist. I don't know where I'd even be. I don't even know what I'd be talking about or what niches I would be attracting. Probably something I didn't want to talk about on my YouTube show or on the radio. Which happened to me many times over the years. I would talk about something like professional sports, the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Britney Spears' rise to fame, Taylor Swift, who was often very overrated. And for the life of me, I don't know why Sabrina Carpenter is chosen for Disney's live-action Tangled when it should have been Ruby Rose Turner, because Ruby was just so passionate about, Tangled and wanting to portray Rapunzel. They should have gave it to Ruby. There still is a chance they might have given it to Ruby, and they're kind of just kayfabing it. They're just suggesting that it's going to be Sabrina Carpenter, but there was always something about Sabrina Carpenter that just annoyed me and got on my nerves. If there was something that ever got on my last nerves, it was always Sabrina Carpenter for some reason, because she's just like Taylor Swift, very overrated, and I think that people like Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner are just never given enough credit, which is why the more love and support we show our favorite Descendant stars and zombie stars of the franchises that have made this all possible for us and make this all happen, the better off we're going to be. Because Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner will finally be able to Google themselves and hear and find something nice about themselves, which is something they're not finding very often. And I just think this is an incredible opportunity. I really do. For every single person, every single little girl who ever said they were a fan of the Zombies franchise, I just wanted to create something special for each and every one of you, along with spreading my own message of kindness after I found this house, which is, yes, near a chemical plant, a soda plantation that could explode. But I guess in that, pretty much all I've got left to do is stay calm and zombie on. There is no better way I would love to spend the rest of my life than talking about Descendants and zombies. There is no place in the world I would rather be than having this opportunity to sit behind this podcast microphone for 25 minutes to a half an hour every single time that I create one of these podcasts for each and every one of you, and not only bring the best out of myself, but bring the best out of every little girl who ever believed in Descendants and zombies as much as what they had. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey that you guys have got me on. An incredible journey where I had the opportunity to attend Oregon Prep, where I had the opportunity to prepare you for a zombie apocalypse, which could still happen at the last moment. When you least expect it, a zombie apocalypse could happen, and you can never be too prepared. You never know who you're going to school with or university with who could be a zombie, a werewolf, a vampire, an alien, what have you, and you can never be too prepared. But with that being said, I guess the only thing left for us to do is for us to stay calm and zombie on. That's really all we can do. I will be back later on this afternoon and throughout tonight with another video as we celebrate Meg Donnelly's 25th birthday. Once again, happy birthday to you, Meg Donnelly. Thank you for being so fearless, so strong, and so inspirational to so many people out there. I wish more people would be giving you credit just like I have been giving you, because you deserve it. And there is no place in the world I would rather be than right here today with each and every one of you celebrating the 25th birthday of Meg Donnelly. Because I think the more love that we show somebody who deserves that kind of love, the better off we're all going to be. Having said that, what do you say we take this opportunity this morning to go spread some kindness? It is only 9:27 a.m. in the morning. I will return later on at some point this afternoon and throughout the evening as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of Zombies and the Forever Imprint. The 25th birthday of Meg Donnelly and the Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires movie, and the Forever Imprint it has left on all of our hearts. With that having been said, let's spread some kindness right about now. It looks like the perfect time to do it. Until I join you later on this afternoon with another podcast, don't forget to hit my subscribe and my like buttons, and don't forget to always stay calm and zombie on no matter what the circumstances. Everything is going to be okay. Why, you may wonder? Because it has to be. Everything has to be okay because we're put on this earth to help one another make sense of our own lives. And if we can't help a girl make sense of her own life, then our purpose is pretty much defeated. So with that having been said, everything will be okay because it has to be. Stay calm and zombie on, everyone. And I will talk to you later on. Bye, YouTube. We will do this again in just a couple of hours from now.